NHL best bets for Monday, January 19th. What's up, guys? Hope you all had a great and profitable weekend. Welcome to Puck Time here on WagerTalk TV. Myself, Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco, and Lawrence Pressman here to break down some games. A decent slate here on a Monday for you guys, including some early games. We'll try and touch on as much as we possibly can. Carmine, hope you had a great weekend, man. I appreciate you sweating out my 5% with me on Friday. That was a nice way to start the weekend off. How was your weekend?
Overall, it was good. Sports betting was so. It's just the ups and downs of sports betting. You try not to get too high when you're running really good, and try not to get too low when you're running bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking more along the lines of, like, I passed on NHL yesterday. On Saturday, I ended up going 2-2 because I had 4 plays on the card. One of the losing plays was a smaller play, so pretty much a wash on Saturday. But watched a lot of football. Obviously disappointed. Bills Mafia doesn't get it done. Sean McDermott fired 1 hour ago by the Buffalo Bills. And Prez and I have a different take on the whole. Should he have been fired? Shouldn't he have been fired? I've been saying for a couple of years now, I think he should be fired. He's not the coach to lead us or lead them there. But with that said, some wild NFL games. And I know this is a hockey show, guys, and it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the States. So let's not forget that and honor him. But let's bring in the Prez. We're going to talk about Minnesota, Toronto. Prez is going to break that one down. Washington, Colorado, New York Rangers, Anaheim Ducks. Andrew, with the same game parlay, I have 2 pod plays today. Not one, but 2. A double pod day for you guys. Hopefully we can get them both. And then we're going to sign off and do it all again tomorrow. Brian Leonard returns next Tuesday to the show. Looking forward to him coming back. A much needed couple of weeks of rest for him. And I will mention this because he is an NBA specialist as well too. He has a 5% play up, only his second 5% play in the NBA. Yep. So head over to WagerTalk and you can find that on his page, wt.buzz/BL. Prez, before we get into hockey chatter, it was a big day in the NFL this weekend, or a big weekend in the NFL. Any thoughts on the games?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Carm, you and I were texting each other. I was ready to jump off a cliff. You were going to jump with me. I spoke to Brian Power today. He would have jumped as well. Just, from a betting perspective, a horrible piece of shit division weekend. I couldn't have been any worse. I had Buffalo as a 5% play. And there were 5 turnovers, all against me. I then had the under in the New England game. There were 5 turnovers, all on the wrong side of the field. And then I did end with one winner on the Chicago Bears. But look, I don't want to harp on it. I had a great wild card week. Had a shitty division week. I can only do my best, pick them right. And I cannot account for the fact that Josh Allen stunk. As far as Sean McDermott goes, I think Buffalo's out of their freaking mind to fire him. I would have fired the general manager 20 million times over. Yeah. Guy loaded Sean McDermott up with nobody. They couldn't get a wide receiver. They don't have any, major stars anywhere other than one guy. James Cook, excellent work, but I mean, the way to leave, Buffalo Bills are 2 people, Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and now they're 1. So I hope I'm now officially will not be cheering for the Buffalo Bills moving forward. They can Cushman Tochus as far as I'm concerned.
Andrew, that might be a positive. I'm just kidding. Prez,
might be.
It's the right move. McDermott was too involved.
That's according to you, bro.
Calls. Yeah, well, because I follow the team. He was too involved with the defensive play calling and the offensive play calling, even though they have Joe Brady. I think Brady's going to be gone as well, too. I think his time in Buffalo is likely gone. And then maybe whoever the new coach is that they bring in goes to the GM and says, we need wide receivers to run the offense that I want to run.
Yeah. Because nobody mentioned that to the GM. You have to tell a general manager that we need wide receivers.
McDermott for the last couple of years. Listen, no. McDermott for the last couple of years was adamant that he wanted a more balanced attack. And that is why James Cook flourished this year, because the Bills had a running game behind him. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, we got to talk.
I will mention this, guys. In hockey news, Rasmus Anderson, now a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. The trade deadline no longer means anything in the NHL because all the trades for the biggest players that are available in contract years seemingly get traded much before the trade deadline. So we don't see that. And then I will add this, guys, on a hockey note. Matthew Tkachuk makes his season debut today. And of course, they give him his season debut against the San Jose Sharks. Look forward to seeing that. He's been doing a lot of talking on that new podcast of his. We get him back on track. So I think it's going to be interesting. And you know what? I respect Vegas, no pun intended, but they're always rolling the dice, guys. And why not? They haven't had a bad year since they've existed as a team yet.
Andrew, you didn't have to preface with that and in more hockey news, Matthew Tkachuk, because I'm pretty sure if you just said Matthew Tkachuk makes his debut tonight, it's not for either Indiana or Indiana or Miami of Florida. Frez, hold on a second, man. Just calm your heels. I know you got to go. I got to set this up properly for you. Okay, the Leafs minus 118, Minnesota minus 102. Total sits here at 6. Where are you going with this one?
So, full disclosure, I have been killing it betting the Leafs, a Leaf game somehow all year long. You guys had me on, and I was giving out the under game after game after game, and it was cashing. Lately, I've been betting the over in Leaf games and releasing them to my clients, and it's been cashing. I've got a real good handle on this team. I'm also rolling in the NHL completely right now. I'm on an 8-2 run in the NHL. So let's go into this Leaf game. Let me start by saying this. I like the Leafs. I like the Leafs tonight. I don't love the Leafs tonight because I'm worried about Minnesota. So right off the bat, I would like to bet the Leafs, but I'm not going to. And the reason is you had Minnesota just, hit the skids. They lost 2 in a row. They beat Seattle in overtime, and then they lost 3 in a row, and they just beat Buffalo in overtime. This team has not won a game in regulation since January 2nd. That was 7 games ago. So in their last 7 games, the Minnesota Wild have not won a game in regulation. So why would I be scared to bet against them right now? Because this Minnesota Wild team is a really good hockey team. They are loaded with talent. Since they got Quinn Hughes, they went on a big, huge run. I think they're one of the better teams in the league. And what we're trying to do as professional bettors, and I say this to my clients all the time, is we're trying to get ahead of a run. So let's talk about that. Minnesota Wild are a bet-on team over the next few weeks. The Winnipeg Jets are a bet-on team over the next few weeks. The Vegas Golden Knights are a bet-on team over the next few weeks. The Calgary Flames are a bet-against team over the next few weeks. That's how I handicap. I look to try to find what a team is going to do over the next couple of weeks and then get ahead of it. I feel like the Wild are about to go on a run. So I would actually prefer the Wild over the Leafs in this spot. With that said, I think we're going to see an under tonight, guys. There are a few 6.5s out there. And although I've been betting the over in Leaf games of late, and they have gone over 4 in a row, from a goaltending perspective, this team is horrible. They just let Winnipeg put up 3. Vegas got 6. Utah got 6. Colorado got 3. But before that, Vancouver, Philadelphia, and Florida, 2 goals in 3 games. This Toronto team is playing bad defensively. And again, in keeping with trying to get ahead of it, I know Craig Berube. We're good friends. We have dinner on a regular basis. We hang out in the sauna. We work out together. We share wives. He is a defensive-oriented coach. I think after 3 horrible defensive games, much better against Winnipeg. But after the 2 shit games against Utah and Vegas, I think we see the Leafs play much better defensively. And I think Minnesota, even though they have struggled to keep the puck out of the net, is a defensive-oriented team as well. So I think the under is the play in this game. I would rather take Minnesota over Toronto, but I do not bet against the Leafs. I'm taking the under.
You do not bet against Leafs. Well, it's true. I will say this, and Chuck Pod says you're a little blurry. You seem fine now, but it's, talk about Minnesota going on a run. These are their games that they have coming up prior to the NHL shutdown for the Olympics. They have the Leafs, obviously, tonight. Then they're in Montreal, return home to face Detroit, Florida, Chicago, Calgary, Edmonton Oilers, Montreal one more time, and then finish it with Nashville.
What's that? 6-3, something like that. Right. So there you go.
And one final word: Are you worried at all about the fact that even though they've had a couple of days off, the Leafs are returning from a West Coast trip?
Yeah. Again, that's another reason why I don't want to bet the Leafs tonight. Like, I'm trying to unblurry me. I don't want to bet the Leafs tonight, guys. Like, so yes, I am worried. I mean, with that said, Carmine, the Leafs have been, an incredible hockey team for the last close to 4 weeks now. They're in playoff position. They're really playing good hockey right now, man. So yeah, I would probably lay off the side.
All right. What do you got to promote?
I got a hockey play up tonight. Let me give you, firstly, I want to give you guys the play. The Winnipeg Jets did not make my card tonight. I really like them in Chicago tonight, especially off of a loss against Toronto in overtime. So I really like the Winnipeg Jets. That's just like a free play for you guys. But I do have one hockey play tonight that I like better. It's a total. I'm on an 8-2 run, but most importantly, I have the actual bet that you guys need to make for the championship game tonight between Miami and Indiana. I am the number one expert in college football bowls percentage-wise this year and for the last 5 years. Literally, this year and for the last 5 years. I am 7-2, 7-2 in bowl betting. I won both my semifinal games. That's the play for tonight, and it's a 4% play. I'm going for 6 wins in a row in my 4% plays. Get that college football bet in tonight, guys. Thanks for having me, you two. I will be on tomorrow. Lots of love. Keep rocking and rolling. And, go Leafs.
Have a good night, Prez. Good luck.
Later, boys.
Easy, Prez. Andrew, before we get into this Colorado-Washington game, let's talk about just a quick second about that trade. Brian had dropped a message to us asking what we thought about that trade with Vegas. I think Calgary's in sell mode now. I think at this point, this team can't win. They're like Vancouver, a couple Canadian teams that are going to win occasional games. So they're going to burn some people sometimes when you play against them. But for the most part, you look at Vancouver and they're a train wreck at the moment. You look at Calgary and they're going to start moving. And they had to move him because he wasn't going to re-sign with Calgary from what I was reading. I think Vegas stole that deal because even though they give up one player, a prospect, and a possible first-round draft pick, that first-round pick only becomes a first-round pick if they win the Stanley Cup this year. And if I'm any GM, I would take a Stanley Cup in exchange for a first-round draft pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I would certainly do that.
Any fan base would take a Stanley Cup.
Look, I can't believe this team has not been bad since they've existed, right? And I've made jokes about the fan base saying we're going to find out how much of a fan base they have once this team actually goes through struggly times. But just the way that they operate, like, look at what they've done to a couple players. Look at what they did to Jonathan Marchessault. They've just gotten rid of a couple players. They've look at what they did to Marc-Andre Fleury when they were all done with him. That's it's kind of a cutthroat team, but they run it like a very they run it like an all-star team. Like, they have made it very clear that they don't care about draft picks, Carm. They're not bothered. They're this team that has Jack Eichel and now Mitch Marner and Thomas Hertl and Mark Stone and Dorofeyev and all these great defensemen. They don't care about 5 years from now. They don't care about next year's draft. And honestly, I kind of think that's kind of cool. That's sometimes the way it should be. But the big point that you made is, I'll say this, is that people don't realize the difference in a trade like this when a player was in a contract year. Because Mitch Marner was in a contract year last year, and that's one of the reasons why Leaf fans hate him right now, is because he refused to take any trades. So he just he played his contract out, and then he said, see you later. But Rasmus Andersson, in a certain way, he kind of did Calgary a favor, because if he said, hey, I'm not going to be staying here, then you might as well try and get something for me. So, because there's no contract that's been signed yet. Now, with Hanifin, it took a few months for a contract to be signed anyways, but it is kind of interesting, right? That there's no contract signed. It wasn't a sign and trade or anything. So right now he is still an unrestricted free agent, but now he just plays for a different team. And Calgary got, 2027 first, 2028 second, and then those two guys. Zach Whitecloud's a good defenseman too, but obviously Rasmus Andersson's a big pickup there.
Yeah, it really is. And these are the types of deals, at least financial wise, that we're going to see. And maybe this is the first pebble that gets the button rolling, or gets the button rolling. I saw the button come up on the screen there. That gets the ball rolling before the trade deadline. And we see a lot of moves, is the ones in which the team that's shipping out the player is picking up a bulk of the salary. They're picking up 50% of the salary, which obviously helps teams that are kind of salary cap tied and can't make those moves. So this is how teams like Anaheim the past few years, or San Jose with Greer worked it out. They had a ton of cap space, and they ate up contracts while trading some guys away to rebuild this team, and they accumulated a bunch of draft picks. So Sharks are playing well as well too, and Anaheim seems to have turned it around as well too. So at least the Western Conference is starting to shape up. But we're going to see a lot of those deals. And someone mentioned, I think it was Titans probably, about Nazem Kadri. I see Kadri getting moved. I think he goes to a team that needs a little bit of toughness up front, and he provides that. He was like that with the Leafs, and I thought he was a good part of the Leafs, but he took those couple penalties or suspensions against the Boston Bruins in the playoffs, and it ended up costing him his opportunity in Toronto. So with that said, Andrew, let's get back to talking today's games on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Colorado minus 218, Washington plus 176. Total sits here at 6.5. Where are you going with this one?
Well, Carm, it's funny. The last time you and I spoke, we were talking about keeping it simple, and there were a couple people in the chat room that said, yeah, guys, let's keep it simple as it is. Tampa Bay and Colorado, they're both going to get it done. And, of course, this was on our last episode of PuckTime on Friday, and we both know what happened when it came to that. Those two favorites went down. We don't call it Freaky Friday for no reason. Those Fridays can be very weird, and we did see that happen. But the thing is about this Avalanche team is that they didn't just lose. I know there were some empty net goals, but they were outplayed. They kind of got their butts kicked a little bit here against the Nashville Predators. And, I kind of like it when, a team gets a chance to respond the next day. But for a team like the Avalanche, they lost, and then they got 2 days to sit and stew about it. These are top players. These are the best guys that, in the league, some of these guys like Makar and McKinnon and Natchez, and you're going to give them Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night to rest up, get back in game shape, get in the cold tub, and get ready for another game. So, look, yesterday's board, the favorites did well. There's some days where you want to look at a couple of favorites and say, I got to be on these more. And I'll tell you what, you look at this Washington Capitals team right now, they're starting to become pretty leaky defensively. Like a lot of the numbers that I'm looking at here indicate that the Avalanche are going to overwhelm them with the volume that they have. This is a Capitals team allowing nearly 30 shots on goal per game over their last handful of games. And I just think that their chances are not nearly the same. So I'm going to try and find a way to best play this. Of course, I did recommend to people on Friday, if you want to ever find plus money on a team like Colorado, you can look at them to get to 4 or 5 goals. And didn't work on Friday. But maybe this is the time that we look at that first period bet, Carm, or we look at the team total or whatever it might be, because this is going to be a bounce back spot. And I'm going to go back to you with this, and bear in mind, I do understand that there were some empty net goals in that game, but for me, it actually makes a difference in my handicap for this one that they didn't look very good. Like they kind of lost by a decent margin. Does it make a difference to you, Carm, that this Avalanche team isn't just off a 3-2 win or loss? They're off a loss by a handful of goals in this one. I understand a few empties, but you got a couple days to sit and think about this loss they just went through.
Yeah, well, they do. But this is one of those ones, we talked about, I think we discussed it last week, that they've had no adversity all year long because they've been injury free all year long. And so they got off to that great start. But we saw with injuries to Taves and Landeskog, after Landeskog went down, they've lost 2 games in regulation, 1 in OT. It's a shuffling of the lines for this team, and then you're also missing a big player as well too. I'm trying to find news on whether Landeskog is going to be back or not, just because one of the sites doesn't even show him on the injury list, and then another site shows him as out. So it'll be interesting to see, because if he's out, Andrew, even though it's not going to make my card, I would be tempted to take Washington on this plus 176. Going against Colorado home is extremely tough. This team has been phenomenal all season long, but they've shown some kinks in the armor when some guys are out of the lineup, because you've got to rejig those lines. You've got to move players around, and Landeskog is a big part of it as well too. So plus 176 seems so tempting if Landeskog's out, and I'm not sure if anyone is looking it up right now or not. If you find any news, just drop it in the live chat there. But if he's out, Andrew, prior to game time, I might take a flyer on the Capitals to get a win here. The Capitals have a very good team as well too, so they play their own style of hockey, and it's about who enforces their game on the ice that ends up winning. If you play a fast-paced game, it's likely going to be the Colorado Avalanche that come away with the win here. If it's a somewhat penalty-free game and it's a little slower, Washington clogs up that neutral zone, then the Caps have a chance to win this one. Any thoughts?
Yeah, to me, it's all about the speed. Like if this was in Washington, maybe then Washington gets the last change. They get an opportunity to set the matchups that they like. But I don't fault you for it, because you know what? They're in bounce back mode as well. This Capitals team is still very structurally built. I don't fault you for it. I've had a tough time this year, Carm, not betting enough on these great teams. And although they lost on Friday at home, I'm going to try and find a way to jump in here and get back at them. So we'll see. But Giovanni here says Wedgwood or Blackwood. I'll tell you what, Blackwood didn't look great in that game on Friday.
No.
So it's interesting because at one point, the clear number 1 was Blackwood, of course, then Wedgwood was number 2. But because of the injuries that Blackwood dealt with this year, Wedgwood kind of became the number 1 for a good portion of the year. So I'll be curious to see what happens with that. So you think it's like over correlates with the Avs and under with the Capitals type of thing?
Yeah, I think so. The 6.5 is a dicey one. The halves are always a little dicey. The half goals when it's at 6.5. Obviously at 5.5, not so much. But it is a weird one, just because I think Tom Wilson even missed a game, so yep. I didn't see any status for him as far as where he would play or not. It shows him as questionable with the lower body injury. He's a guy you want in there as well too. You can almost make a case for maybe we just sit this one out. with the Colorado Avalanche and Washington. But I'm just tempted to take Washington. Sometimes I'm looking for, I think, teams that are live dogs on the card. And I still have a lot of respect for this Washington team. I think they're well coached. But once again, they need guys like Wilson in the lineup as well, too. So I'll be checking the injury reports. Chuck Pod did say that Landeskog's out until February the 2nd. So we'll see what the Avs and I'd rather have right now as Andrew as far as goalies, because Blackwood gave a lot of rebounds in that game. Wedgwood's much better with puck control, so and rebound control. So and Wedge is having a great season. So I would probably want to see Wedge in goal tonight if I was betting Colorado.
And I couldn't agree more with the point that you made about, Washington missing a couple of those key guys. So those key guys do make a big difference. And I think a lot of the players they've been missing lately have been the physical players like Wilson. So getting some of those guys back do make a big difference. I'll tell you what, Carm, this is one of those games that regardless of if I had any action on it, and I think I will be cheering on some props in this game, just some free plays. And who knows, maybe I will get to the window because I am leaning towards the Colorado side. But either way, this would be one of those games that I would want to watch. It's going to be a good one. And I'm curious to see how the Avalanche respond here. The big thing for me is at home. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking at a lot of prop websites right now, and Wilson is listed as a prop for a lot of these. So we'll see if that means something to us. But I do think that, this team is a little bit different. So we'll see. I do agree with you with the premise, though. The under correlates with the Washington Capitals. But overall, Carm, we got a busy slate here. Again, guys, reminder, there are some early games here today. We got, 1:37, Carm, and 4:07 Eastern starts. That Washington-Colorado game, of course, is one of the early ones. So if you guys want to get in on it, don't forget to get your bets in, get your props in, your sides and totals, because that is an early starter, of course. And, guys, we hate asking for it, but we really do appreciate any likes that you can give us here on the show. Of course, subscribe to our channel here on WagerTalk. And if you guys are on the go as well, you guys can catch us on podcast platforms. It takes a little while for those to get up a little bit later into the afternoon, but you can find us Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and much, much more. So, and of course, guys, if you're interested during the show, if you're a live member or if you're a live viewer of the show, comment question, any game you want us to touch on. We might not dive as deep into it, but we'll do our best to get to them. Right, Carm?
Yes, sir. Reporting for duty, sir. Sorry, it's a Monday, man. I'm just, I haven't had my double espresso yet. And good thing Clemenza's not in the chat. I'm going after the show, Andrew, pick up some cannolis for tomorrow's show. So I will eat those cannolis on the show. Andrew, let's talk the New York Rangers and the suddenly hot Anaheim Ducks once again. Ducks minus 137, the Rangers plus 113. Total sits here at 6.5. I'm going to make this one somewhat easy for me, Andrew. I'm going to look at the over here. It seems like the sort of the square opinion on this game, but the Ducks are actually playing much better the last 3 games, and that's off a 9-game losing skid. They've won 3 straight. And I was looking at the numbers for them over that 9-game losing stretch. They were allowing, let me bring this up here to mention to you guys, the Ducks on that 9-game losing skid had allowed 33.43 expected goals or 3.71 per game. Over the last 3 games, they've knocked almost a full goal off of the expected goals against because they're playing better defense. And Joel Quenneville has them playing like they were playing earlier in the season. But I am leaning to the over because they're 31-17, the best record in the NHL this season with overs. And then, yes, we talk about the Rangers, and this is one of those weird stats with the Rangers. At home, the Rangers are averaging 2.04 goals per game on home ice, which is why they have one of the worst home records in the NHL. On the road, more than a full goal better, 3.22, which is respectable goals per game on the road. And I think they have the 3rd or 4th best road record in the Eastern Conference. So this team's splits are a complete reverse of what we would expect them to be. Better at home, worse on the road. And they're 4-0-1 to the over the last 5 games, Andrew. The Rangers are. So they're starting to score some goals, this Rangers team. But I think they're also going to be moving players. You saw Chris Drury come out with a letter there talking about it. They're not going to offer a contract. I don't think they're going to re-sign Panarin. So it means the bread man is going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
He's going to go somewhere.
I can't believe that message to the fans. Like that absolutely cracks me up, Carm. It makes me laugh. I mean, do they act like they have been some Stanley Cup contending team for the last 5 years, and they've been to the conference finals and they've been to the Stanley Cup? Like, hey, we don't need a letter from you guys to tell us that you haven't been doing well. Like, and the funny thing is, they did the exact same thing. Like, I think 7 or 8 years ago, when Jeff Gordon was their president of hockey operations. And I don't know. This team, it's been weird. Yeah. Like, I think that, what they realized? They were relying way too much on Igor. And I think a lot of us really started to realize it, because I thought that Jonathan Quick was one of the best backups in the whole entire league. If you would have asked me, I would have had to think about it for a second. Then I probably would have told you Jonathan Quick is the best backup in the league. And just based on the numbers that I'm looking at here, in his last 3 games combined, he has an .805 save percentage. Like, that is just not good overall. It's not good. I lean towards the Duck side, Carm. I really do. But to your point about the splits, this is just, I mean, you already mentioned it, but 86 goals scored in 27 games away, 44 goals scored in 22 games played at home. I mean, I know there's a five game difference there, but 86 goals versus 44 goals is quite the difference. And I think you and I would both think that Anaheim's going to get some goals as well. So maybe this could be a game that I should have been looking for in my prop segment as well. But I have no issue looking at the over in this game. I really don't.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to lean to this one. I just want to answer. It's not a question, but Kevin writes, Buffalo ruined a 10-team Hail Mary. Done with them guys. I think you got that a little wrong. I think you should put, I'm done with 10-team parlays. Because you have to go 10-0 to win them. Imagine going 90% on your picks and you win $0. You lose money. Come on, man. Come on, Kevin. If you're in this for entertainment purposes only, then fire away. Make them 15, 20, 30 team parlays. But
I mean, going 9 for 10, that's impressive. 9 for 10.
9 for 10 is still good. But to your point of like Jonathan Quick, last year he was phenomenal. He was, but he was in the backup role. Shesterkin got most of the starts.
Yeah.
This season he's getting more starts, and obviously now with Shesterkin injured, he's going to be in there. And he's no longer a number 1 goalie. He was a very good backup, and now a very good backup doesn't become a very good starting goalie when you're a little older, Andrew. So that is one of the issues that the Rangers are going to suffer from right now. Adam Fox obviously out. They're going to make some moves. This team, we'll see. I think there's a lot of teams that are sellers that have some stuff. So we'll see if it's a seller's market, buyer's market. It all depends on who the players are, what the contracts are, and how much the teams are willing to eat up the remaining part of that salary. Just because there's so many teams that are at that threshold. So I kind of joked around about the Panarin one, I think on the X when Elliot Friedman tweeted out about Panarin likely not coming back to the Rangers, and I retweeted and said, I wonder who Florida's putting on the long-term injury reserve to make this deal happen. So we shall see. Someone's going to get injured, Andrew. Who knows? Someone's got to get injured.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the ball starts rolling. We start seeing more moves made, and who knows? I like this comment here from Lando. Says Trouba anytime goal plus 800 pizza money 5 shots on goal last time out, former team playing the Trouba tonight. I think that's the way to go. If you're gonna do that, you got to do pizza money, but you got to do the shots on goal and then sprinkle on the goal. Because if he's got 5 shots on goal, maybe it's worth looking at.
Yeah, pizza money is right. You can take flyers on those 10 teamers with pizza money. You know what I mean? It's pure entertainment. I get it. You win one, or the thought of winning one, it's like, hey, I just turned $20 into like 2,500. But there's a reason why sports celebrities are out there pushing for some of these global books, the same game parlays and the multi-leg parlays, is because most of them lose. The books make a ton of money off them. It's kind of like people don't understand that the in Vegas, the number one revenue source for casinos is penny slots. It brings in billions of dollars for them because people are like, oh, I'm going to play the penny slots. It won't cost me much, until you find out you need like to bet like 880 credits, which is $8.80 in order to be eligible to win one of those major jackpots or what have you, Andrew. So it is one thing sucks them in and the other one sucks the money out of them. So that's how it is. I'm telling you, every month, I think, or every quarter, they report like New Jersey. When New Jersey reports how much money they're making in gambling, penny slots is right there. It's like at the top, and it's just it morphs everything else. They don't make money sports betting. They don't make money on table games like they make on penny slots. But why are we talking penny slots? Only if Buffalo was on today's card where we can say Buffalo. But with that said,
someone asked about the Buffalo game, and just overall, this Buffalo team is so hot, man. This Buffalo team is red hot right now. But at the same time, we'll see what happens to them moving forward.
Why don't I cover that right now with same game parlay number 1, same game pod number 1, and then you can do the same game parlay, and then I will finish it off with pod number 2. So
okay,
let's do this. All right, let's get on to this is the early game, guys. Pod number 1. I am taking the Carolina Hurricanes in regulation. That's why the price is minus 140. In regulation, I am taking them. Sabres off a loss to Minnesota. They've been playing unbelievable hockey. At some point, this is the start of a 5-game road trip, and a very tough 5-game road trip for them, where they've also got to play Nashville, the Islanders, Montreal, I think the Leafs, as well too, and obviously starting in Carolina tonight. Carolina 6-1-1 their last 8 games on a 4-0 run at home, and the last 13 meetings in Carolina, there's only been one team that has come out with a victory, and that is the Carolina Hurricanes. 13-0 run at home against the Buffalo Sabres. That is your pod play.
And I got a comment from Kopech. I'm not a hater. I promise you. I actually have been cheering for them because a player on the team is from my neck of the woods, sort of. So I've been rooting for them. But I think it's kind of sad they went on that crazy run and then they're barely in a playoff spot. That's how you know you buried yourself in October if you're 15-2. And so I'm not waiting for their demise, but you know. It's kind of like Detroit. If you want to call me a hater of any team right now, just call me a hater of Detroit, because I've been waiting for them to lose all year long, and they just haven't. So maybe they're finally just good.
That's the wrong reason to hate a team, Andrew, is because they keep winning. You know, I get it. You're a Montreal fan, and you want every team in the Eastern Conference to play miserably, so you guys can win the sort of the number 1 seed there, or what have you. But you look at the standings right now, and I'm having a look at them right now. I wish I'd put together standings. The Detroit Red Wings, fresh off a win yesterday. Was it yesterday against James Reimer? How bad is it that in Ottawa, that fans in Ottawa are holding signs up, "We want Reimer, put in Reimer." But in a guy who hasn't played a game yet, is essentially out of retirement, and there he is. But the Detroit Red Wings, 64 points, tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Carolina for first place in the Eastern Conference. Montreal Canadiens only 3 points back, and the suddenly resurgent Boston Bruins. Could they make a deal because they are running good for the playoffs? Can they bring, oh my God, imagine making a deal and bringing Panarin to Boston.
I don't want to hear
You'd
that.
have the bread man and pasta together.
And
bread and pasta, what every Italian loves. Carbs, bread and pasta. Make it happen. Come on, man.
Those are the two things that I'm giving up for the month of January. Bread and pasta. So we'll see how long that lasts. On the topic of that, I know this is my Montreal Canadiens 30-second rant here, but that comeback was unbelievable. 5-3 down. But I got to say, Jake Sanderson's comments after the game, like that is the most throwing your goalie under the bus I have seen in a long time. Like I have not seen, like, look, the Montreal Canadiens had Montembeault not playing well, had Dobish not playing well earlier, and the players were all respectful in the media. Jake Sanderson pretty much said to the media afterwards, hey, it would have been nice to get more than 10 or 11 saves from our goalie. Like, man. And then the next day, he's on the ice again for the overtime loss. It's like, dude, you're a defenseman. Your goalie sucks right now, but you're also a defenseman. I thought that was pretty crazy. But then one thing he said, and I thought this was AI, because the Hab fans filled up the arena in Ottawa. He said, I'm starting to get used to feeling like it's a road game, even at my own home arena, which is pretty shitty to hear. Carm, I told you last week on the show that I want to start doing this more, and I'm going to start doing this as well as doing the parlays. I'll try and get some graphics together, but I'm going to just let people know, players that are on hot streaks, whether it's goals or assists or points or whatever it might be. So here are a couple names for you guys before I put my parlay up on the screen. Alex Tuck has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games versus the Carolina Hurricanes, and that price is plus 240. Mark Scheifele has a goal in 3 of his last 4 games against the Blackhawks. That price is plus 165. And then here are a couple guys that are on some hot streaks right now. Zibanejad has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games at plus 180. Brock Nelson has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games at plus 180. Mark Stone from Vegas has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games at plus 150. And Jonathan Toews from Winnipeg has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games at plus 350. So those are a couple of guys that are hot right now as far as their goal scoring, either in the last 5 games or in their head-to-head matchups. In player props, I love the head-to-head matchup stuff, but I also want to let you guys know who's hot right now. Now, here is my parlay for today. We've got 2 parlays of 2 legs each, and you put them together, and we get to plus 500 here. The odds were changing as I was doing this, so make sure you guys get the best prices you possibly can. But Winnipeg and Chicago, Gabe Vilardi, 1 point. Jonathan Toews, 1 point. Those 2 are line mates. And then we have Washington Capitals, Colorado Avalanche, Cale Makar, 1 assist, and Martin Necas, 1 assist. I think that the assist market is a really good way to get around, the bad prices on player points or even player shots or even high money line prices, because if you expect a high number of goals from a certain team and a bounce back, Colorado just lost 7-3, then there's going to be a lot of puck movement, a lot of goals. And I think that especially with the power play, if Cale Makar touches it, Necas touches it, then McInnis scores a goal. There you go. You cash that ticket. So these 2 guys are definitely slept on as far as their assist prop is concerned. And put all these together, we get plus 500. But tomorrow I'll come ready again with some guys that are playing pretty well right now, and we'll try and get you guys some head-to-head trends and things like that. So look, these are some picks that I make. Try and put a couple 2-teamers together, but I also want you guys to be up to date on who the hot players are right now, who's doing well goal scoring wise, and all that good stuff.
I love it, Andrew. I think that's the way you got to do it. Let them know about a bunch of guys on hot streaks, which is great because, again, the same game parlay segment is something that you guys asked for during the off season. When I put some tweets up, you guys wanted some of this stuff, because some of you guys are just recreational bettors, and which is perfectly fine. And whether you're playing $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, what have you, you can take your shots on some of these and hope that some hit. But the single game is sort of the way to go.
Yeah,
I always say. So with that said, Andrew, I've got a 20 game parlay I want to read out to you. No, I'm just kidding. No parlay. Guys, here's pod number 2. It is a 6 o'clock game as well, too. I'm taking the over in the Florida Panthers game, over 6.5, minus 115 against the San Jose Sharks. I love the way the San Jose Sharks team is playing. And even though they've gone under in 2 straight games, they had 9 straight overs prior to that. They were on a tremendous run. And Florida's scoring some goals as well, too, especially on home ice. So, with that said, I am going to go with the over in this game and hope that the early start time brings us some goals in this one. I want to get some winners, just lock up a couple of winners and then get ready to watch the nighttime action and the college football championship game as well, too. So your pod play number 2 is the Florida Panthers, San Jose Sharks over 6.5, minus 115. Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky are the confirmed goalies in this one, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Carm, I don't know what's going on today, man. 2 plays of the day. We're getting treated here on Puck Time on a Monday, and maybe it's because there's so many games on a Monday. I love when the NHL throws us off a little bit here, changing the schedule up. And what's funny is the next couple of days, we're going to have some days where there actually are just a couple of days there. This comment here from Roberts says, missing the segment, who to bet on and who to fade, the buy and sell. And, Carm, maybe this could be something that me and you just do together on Mondays. We don't need to spend too much time on it, but we can bring a team or two to look at, and it can be a fun segment to do together. So maybe something to look at moving forward. But we both like doing it, and we'll try and mention it for you guys more and more. As Carm talked about during his POD segment, like sometimes there'll be teams that, hey, this is the team I'm looking to bet on more. This is the team I'm looking to bet against more, and things like that. And I will tell you, that Carolina one that Carmine had there, Carolina had a couple bad outings in a row, and then I was happy to cash a 5% play on Friday night. Team total over 3.5. I turned the TV off when it was at 4. I was like so excited. I'm like, all right, cool, we're good. And then I look at it again, Carmen. It was 9 goals. And, teams are emotional. Teams are streaky. Sometimes when a team gets a big win like that, then they're about to go on a run. And we'll see with your Buffalo Sabres, because you know what? Maybe I was being a bit of a hater on them. But if you didn't get in on the 15-2 run, it's probably too late to get in on it now.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think so, Andrew. I think this stretch that they have coming up is a tough one. It's going to test the mettle of this team, and it's just because I'm not entirely convinced that Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen and Colton Ellis are like prime number 1 goalies. Colton Ellis definitely isn't. They got to just nurse him along. But even Ukko, I just don't know with him. So at some point, the regression is going to hit the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe it starts today. I will say this, Andrew, before we get into the quick little promo thing. It's just, this is a weird thing to say, but you know what I mean? Like, I try and answer questions that people send me, like DMs or what have you, people that I follow and my clients. And I always do. Every once in a while, you get like some guy who's just like on Instagram. I won't mention the name of this person, but this is the same guy who sent me the message saying, I hope you get cancer. Like, what's wrong with you, man? He sends me one this weekend and I had to block him and report him, but it just, he just put in some terrible, stupid comment in my DMs. So I'm going to end this, Andrew, and send it to you for promos, and then I'll do mine. I'll end it with because it's MLK Jr. Day. And this is a perfect quote for this guy. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. That's a quote from MLK. And maybe that guy should take that quote and apply it to his life. Andrew, what do you got to promote?
Yeah, Carm, you don't deserve any of that, man. You don't deserve any of that. And you know what? There's a lot of darkness, but there's a lot of brightness. And we got a lot of nice guys here in the live chat right now. And, we try and, really, really take all the stuff that you guys say and all the positive guys in here because, you guys would be shocked with some of the stuff that we hear. And Carmine definitely does not deserve any messages like that on any platform. That's for sure.
Nobody does. Nobody deserves. Nobody does. It's not limited to me. You don't. The guys in the chat don't. Nobody should ever be subject to any of that stuff. There's like too much hate that goes on, and this is why we are where we are. But with that said, Andrew, dude, it feels like frozen frenzy today because the games are like almost like a half hour apart. It's a frozen frenzy Monday on MLK Day. There's a ton of action. I will go first, and it's this way you can close it out. I have a couple soccer plays up. First one goes at 12:30, so it goes in about 40 minutes. England and Italy action from their domestic leagues, and then 3 plays up in the NHL for tonight, and then the national championship game as well too. That's been up for a while. On my page, and 16-5-1 with college football playoffs, number 2 profit wise at WagerTalk, behind only Drew Martin, who's like 8-0. Drew's on a phenomenal run. Drew Martin, kudos to him, man. I thought like I had it, and then I see Drew Martin 8-0, phenomenal run. So maybe a one day I'll access. Well, you can grab all of the plays that are going on today. With that said, Andrew, what do you got going today, and close it out?
Yeah, I feel like that's the best way to go about it for today is just a one-day all access for myself or for you, Carm. Best of luck with your college play and, of course, the soccer stuff as well. As for right now, I've got one college basketball play. And then, you know what, Carm? I was going to take it light with the NHL, kind of like what Prez was saying. I had 2 games circled, but it looks like I'm going to have at least 3 side plays, including 1 4% best bet. So looking forward to it. And again, guys, there's games all day long, and I always say this. There's going to be times that I release at 4 p.m., at maybe 5 p.m., maybe a 7 p.m. late release. So it's important that you guys get that all access, get those email notifications turned on. You guys can get every single pick sent right to you. So whether it be side plays, total plays, prop plays, or whatever it is, hope you guys all have a very, very good day and profitable day. Hit the like button. It really does help us out, guys. Let's try and get to 290 likes. 290. Try and do that for us, guys. We'll appreciate it a lot. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Make some money tonight and enjoy your night. Take care.